My sister actually found out our dad had another daughter when he had an affair a while ago with 23andMe. She tracked down the girl and then her mother. The mother explained that she had an affair with my father approximately 15 years ago, but hadn't been in contact after her daughter was born. At first, my siblings and I planned to confront Dad first, then let him tell Mom, but since he didn't buy my brother the car he promised, and didn't take us on the vacation we wanted, we were even more angry with him, so we decided to just tell Mom anyway. When we had family dinner, my sis went and got the printed results and confronted our parents. Dad of course went red, then started crying, apologized to Mom, and then just left the house. Mom didn't say anything for a while, but then she called us down a few days later and told us that she's angry at the way we revealed Dad's infidelity. She told us that we really humiliated and hurt Dad, and that we should apologize to him. Mom had forgiven Dad way too quickly in my opinion, and wants to go to marriage counseling, therapy with Dad, but he won't go because we've destroyed him, or something like that. I don't think my siblings and I did anything wrong, but Mom thinks so. She told us that we should have talked to Dad first rather than embarrassing him in front of her, and making him cry and run to Uncle's house. Am I the a-hole, and my siblings, for making my dad cry like this, or were we justified? Edit. Dad isn't talking to us now, and just hugging Mom whenever we see them, so he's probably definitely still hurt. But I personally think that we are not the a-hole, because he deserves this pain, and my siblings agree. It's only Mom who wants Dad to be happy again. You're the a-hole. Holy duck. You and your siblings are huge a-holes. He didn't buy the car my brother wanted, and didn't take us on vacation. Spoiled ducking rotten. Just because you didn't get luxury items, treatment from your father, you're going to make him dislike you forever, and possibly ruin their marriage? You're the a-hole times 10,000. Everyone sucks here, except your mom. There was no thought to your mom's well-being here. You only thought of punishing your dad for not spending enough money on you. You went for maximum drama and pain. You do owe your mother an apology. Everyone sucks here. You suck because your motives were revenge-based, for extremely petty things at that. Your mom sucks for blaming you for your father refusing therapy. Your dad sucks because he cheated and is now playing victim instead of facing what he's done and going to therapy. I, 37 female, am married to an amazing man, 47, and we have 5 children between us. I have 4 and he has 1. We are a happy blended family, and I have an amazing stepson. We're both children from aggressive and manipulative parents. I had a good relationship with mother-in-law. We had some boundary issues that I thought had been solved. I was estranged from my parents for years because they walked out of my life numerous times. My mom was stuck to pills and had a lot of emotional issues. My dad, 56, veteran, has PTSD, ADD, and some childhood trauma. They were very, very codependent. They never dealt with their issues. My childhood was traumatic to say the least. At the beginning of 2017, my dad contacted me out of nowhere after 3 years of not knowing where him and my mom were, or if they were even alive. Something was wrong with my mom, and I went to see them. They were living in a rent-by-the-week place. My dad greeted me like nothing had happened. I walked in and saw my mom and immediately called my husband and brother. Told them to bring the truck because my parents weren't living like this. Mom was sick. She had had a stroke. It was a heartbreaking sight. I brought them home with me. The next day my mom went to the hospital and died 9 days later. My parents were married almost 40 years. I forgave her and made things right between us before she passed. I'm a stay-at-home mom and my husband works very hard to support us. My husband went above and beyond. My dad continued to live with us. My husband paid all of my dad's bills and helped with mom's final expenses. I added my dad to our phone plan and got him a phone. My husband was supportive and told my dad he didn't have to work right now, and he just needed to get counseling and work on his grief and getting his life together. My husband even lent my dad a truck. My dad promised he'd get the help he needed and would never abandon me again. I was so happy to have a parent. During the first few weeks after the funeral, my mother-in-law was over often. She and my dad struck up a friendship. On the way home from a doctor appointment, my dad said that my mother-in-law was saying I love you to him, and that he liked her, but she was married and he just wanted to be friends, but he felt sorry for her. She would cry to him and say how lonely she was. My father-in-law was in an assisted living facility. Mother-in-law and father-in-law were married. My husband had a great relationship with his dad, as did my stepson, so it was awkward when I told my husband about it. We didn't know what to do. My husband said he was worried about how she was trying to manipulate my dad, and that he was of course hurt at the thought that she would cheat on her husband, especially with my newly widowed father. I invited mother-in-law over to talk. My husband couldn't be there because of work, so I had him on speakerphone. I didn't tell her. She didn't know that her son could hear everything she said. I asked her politely and respectfully to back off, that my dad is struggling with grief and multiple mental issues and just needs a friend. I reminded her that she's been through grief before and understands how hard things are right now. She knows my relationship with my dad, and I reminded her how hard I'm working to support him getting healthy. Also, she's married, and it is really awkward. I didn't say anything mean. I didn't say anything disrespectful. I was loving and kind. She told me that my dad is old enough to make his own decisions, and her marriage is none of my business. I said that's fair, but she's no longer welcome to drop by anytime she'd like. She needs to wait until she's invited. I don't feel comfortable being around someone who I felt was trying to take advantage of my dad, and cheating on your spouse isn't going to go down well with anyone. She left and immediately called my father and said I cussed her out and made an old lady cry. That I was brutally mean to her and told her she wasn't allowed to talk to him. Minutes later, my dad asked me to take a drive with him. He proceeded to cuss me out and told me to duck off, and I was a horrible brat for being so mean to an old lady who loved him, and that my mother-in-law needed someone in her life to protect her and be there for her. And I was wrong, and I needed to get over my mommy complex. I told him none of that was true. I didn't say any of that. She was trying to manipulate him. He didn't believe me. He moved out that night without telling me. He left in the truck my husband so graciously lent him. My mother hadn't been dead 6 weeks at this point. My mother-in-law tried to tell my husband the same things about me, and he called her a liar and told her he heard everything, and that he was appalled by her behavior and the disrespect she has shown for everyone in this situation, and that he agreed that she wasn't to come over unless she was invited, and if she ever says another untrue thing about me, that he will cut her out of his life. She said the whole situation is my fault, and I'm causing a rift between her and her son. I made another attempt to have a relationship with my dad. He and mother-in-law had been living together for a few months. We worked it out so he was having dinner at my house and seeing my kids once a week. The second and last time he came over, he said he wouldn't come over again unless mother-in-law could come, because she refused to eat when my dad had dinner at my house. My husband said his mom was an adult, and if she couldn't eat because she wasn't invited, then that's her problem, and she's being manipulative. My dad screamed at me to get over my mommy complex while he was waving his arms, and almost hit my mom's urn. He didn't want any of her ashes. He then said to have a nice life. He walked out. That was the last time I saw him. He's tried to text me and asked to see my kids, but I said no. He's not stable enough to be in their lives. He had already walked out on them and disappeared 3 times in the years before that. I said no more. I love my dad, but I don't think it's healthy for him to be in my life. My husband said he doesn't want my stepson around my father, and told mother-in-law that if this is how she chooses to live, then he wanted nothing to do with her, and do not contact him or his son. She proceeded to text my stepson and tell him that he doesn't have to listen to me, that he can come live there with her, that I am trying to deliberately keep her from him, and that I had brainwashed his dad. My oldest, 19, has tried to keep a relationship with my dad, and every time she sees them, she comes home saying it's my fault we can't be a family, and I'm jealous, and just want to control everyone. Mother-in-law also told my husband that I cheat on him regularly, and have men over during the day while he's at work. My mother-in-law told all of my husband's family outrageous lies about me. None of them will speak to either of us. My husband tried to forgive mother-in-law and said they could meet for lunch or go to a park with stepson a couple times a month. But he wasn't comfortable going to the house that his dad owned but my dad lived in. He doesn't care for my father, and I do not blame him in the least. Mother-in-law said that wasn't acceptable, and said he was trying to keep stepson from her. He told her he wasn't letting her alone with his son because she couldn't control herself and respect his boundaries. She declined to see him. Father-in-law died a few months ago, and now mother-in-law filed for grandparents' rights and visitation. Had her son served 3 days before Christmas. She cites in the complaint that I have brainwashed her son and turned her stepson against her, and it's harmful to my stepson to not be in her life. I haven't spoken to her or my dad since 2017. My dad and mother-in-law are living openly. It's weird and awkward. I don't want anything to do with them, and I don't know what my husband and I did to deserve this. We aren't crazy, right? Are we justified in not participating and keeping our kids away from them? Wow, what a bunch of narcissistic, manipulative people. They don't want a relationship with you, that much is obvious. Cut ties and get a lawyer. They will never change, and it will be years of the same crap over and over. First and foremost, hear this. You are completely sane. You and your husband are dealing with 2 manipulative and selfish people who not only want to do whatever they want, but also do it without any care for those who they impact. Both of them are completely in the wrong, and I can't think of a single thing you and your husband should have done differently. I commend you. Drop them, and only allow them to contact you through your lawyer. Dead serious. Change your number if you have to. Don't let them ruin your marriage, because there will be major consequences for your family, more specifically, the children involved. Your mother-in-law has no problem lying to and deceiving her own son. That will lead to nothing but destroying his marriage and life with his family. It's only a matter of time before she turns you and your husband against each other. Stay away. Restraining order if you have to. Your father is a lost cause. I'm sorry. I'm currently planning a wedding with my incredible fiancé, Ryan. Ryan's mom, Kate, does not approve to say the least. She has been pretty rude to me over the years, and I know she doesn't like me. Ryan has lowered contact a lot due to this, but I do suck it up sometimes because she is his mom. We decided to invite her for a brief visit, as it is the holiday season. We are in the midst of wedding planning right now, and have wedding stuff all over the house. The latest addition is this gorgeous sculpture made of white and pink roses of Cinderella's carriage. Wedding is having a slight princess theme which Kate claims is cheesy. Ryan and I went out to run some errands, and left Kate home as she said she would cook dinner. When we got home, the carriage was ruined, and Kate was acting weird. She said it didn't matter what happened, because she knows we are going to think the worst of her, and she knows her son is never going to defend her. I lost it and began crying, while Ryan demanded to know what happened. Kate's boyfriend insisted it was an accident, but Kate said it didn't matter, and she would pack her stuff and leave. At this point, I totally thought she did it on purpose and lost it. I screamed at her, and to be honest, said some hurtful things about her divorce and losing her son. Kate packed her stuff and went. Ryan then suggested we check out the security camera. So we did, and she was spinning and fell. She had been drinking a lot of wine. In the video, she immediately began crying and said we were never going to believe her. Who would believe this was an accident after our history, and that she just ruined her relationship with her son? Her boyfriend literally said, "Who cares about their stupid ducking wedding? You were bleeding." When Ryan saw this, he called her and tried to apologize, left a voicemail. He asked me to do the same as it was truly an accident. I said I wasn't ready to apologize, as she made it all about herself, and didn't even try to tell me the truth. She was willing to ruin her relationship with her son instead of trying to be honest, and she didn't correct her boyfriend when he said, "Stupid ducking wedding." Ryan thinks I need to apologize, and said he is disappointed in me. A couple family members are agreeing, and saying Kate is the victim here. You're the a-hole. Can you honestly say you would have believed her if she had said it was an accident? Because her boyfriend said it was an accident, and you didn't believe him. Your behavior was way out of line. It is a stupid ducking wedding when it comes down to the importance of your future mother-in-law's health versus a sculpture. Everyone sucks here. Mother-in-law was drunk and fell over something and broke it, refused to explain what happened. Drama initiated. OP screamed at her, and somehow decided to bring her divorce into it. The boyfriend was worried about her injury and bleeding more than he cared about the wedding. This does not make him a bad person. OP should absolutely apologize for the things she said, like apologize in a really, really big way. Mother needs to learn to be a little less dramatic when crap happens while she's drunk. Not the a-hole. She's the one who decided to get that drunk. The accident that happened because of that decision is still her fault. I've known my best friend, James, male 33, since university, and Lauren, his girlfriend, 29, and him have been seeing each other for a few months. From the beginning, Lauren has been jealous of me, female 32, which James told me. She had nothing to be jealous of. We're just friends. But I got it. I removed myself a bit, giving them space and hoping she'll feel more secure eventually. However, over the months, I've noticed that she started changing her style. When I met her, she was dressing in very generic, run-of-the-mill, high-street clothing. Nothing wrong with that. But slowly, she changed her style to a point where a lot of her clothes are the same as mine. Which again is not something super unique, but distinctive enough that after a while, it became rather obvious. She started copying a lot of the things I do or wear, my interests, my hobbies. I would meet her in the same classes. E.g., creative writing course or language course which she would join later on despite not speaking the language to required level. It was odd. She even dyed her hair and added extensions to have similar hairstyle I have. Fringe and waist-long dark hair. Which again, not super unique, but add that to everything else, and it gives me the creeps. I mentioned that to James, but he dismissed my concerns and told me I'm overreacting, and I'm just being jealous of his girlfriend. Not what I was expecting, but I let it go. I don't have Facebook, but lately, my friend Sandra showed me Lauren's Facebook page, and it was beyond creepy. My friends have photos of me on their profiles from various outings, etc. Lauren's profile photo looked exactly like one of mine, taken in the same place, in the same clothes, and with the same pose. Her other photos weren't better. One was taken in my house when during one party she must have snuck into my bedroom and took photos in my PJs with my parrot. Another was taken in my attic, where my office is. I run an online business from home, pretending she's working there. I hate confrontation, and I don't know if I even have enough ground to confront her, or if it's all in my head, but she's making me uncomfortable, and I didn't want her at my house. I met James for coffee and mentioned a barbecue I was planning. I have a pool, and it's very hot. We live in Southern Hemisphere, and it's currently summer, to which I invited a bunch of friends. I told James that he was invited, but asked him not to bring Lauren and explained why. He again told me I overreacted and that I'm just jealous. He called me an a-hole for trying to put a wedge between him and Lauren. He did come to the party alone, but made sure to tell everyone how badly I treated Lauren. He hasn't spoken to me at all beyond calling me an a-hole on his way out. He messaged me telling me that he was disappointed in me and thought I was better than that, and why I couldn't be happy for him. I don't know anymore. Was I really the a-hole for not inviting her? Should I have sucked it up in the name of friendship? Wait, so she has a picture of herself in your bedroom, wearing your pajamas, posed with your pet? Have you shown him this pic? Because if he still isn't convinced, he's being willfully ignorant. Well, since he was already petty by telling everyone that you treated Lauren badly, then why don't you also tell everyone your side of the story, and how creepy she is by copying you? Then just block the two of them. Wow, when I first started reading this, I was thinking it wasn't so bad. But no, that girl is creepy. Not the a-hole at all. She's weird, and I would stay away from her before she decides she wants to wear you like a suit or something. If James is in denial, then that's his problem. I would avoid him for now, because he's just enabling her.